Well, howdy, friends and floorheads, and welcome back to the world of Eternal Eyes. Our investigators have brought the Siamese branch of the cult of the thing with a thousand mouths to a literally explosive end. The mouth of Bangkok has been buried under a ton of rubble, if not blown into 1,000 pieces itself. And James, in particular, was ruthless in cutting out any loose ends in the organization, which has led to some unspoken tension within the group. There's still a cult center in Malta to consider, along with several other possible leads, and then the outstanding question of where the thing's body is, if it exists anywhere on this world. But for now, at least, there's a little time to rest and recover physically and mentally before the next struggle begins. Elsewhere, we pan across a small village full of stone and terracotta buildings with thatched roofs somewhere in a dry, rocky desert. Africa, perhaps? The residents are dark-skinned and wear loose robes and shawls in the suffocating heat. They go on about their daily business, seeming normal enough, until the camera draws closer and we can see that every one of them is scarred. Sometimes either just old markings on the skin, a mix of older and recent injuries, but some of them are missing fingers or even entire hands. We see an older woman with a hole in her lip that looks like it may have been chewed there. The village is centered on one particular building, which looks much like the others, except for a large block of salt set in one side of the doorframe. As the camera closes in on that block, we notice that it glitters with shards of broken glass embedded into it, and there are dried bloodstains extending down almost to the ground below it as though it has been used for a very long time. See you on the other side of the opener.
We are back in Chicago, or are we flying?
No. Well, you're flying and sailing mostly. Honestly, you've got about 2 weeks of travel going back. Probably a little longer going back than it was coming here, because it's not quite as easy to make all of those travel arrangements in Bangkok as it was in Chicago and New York. But basically, you make your way back through Calcutta and Baghdad. Stop in London. And obviously, if there's something someone wants to do along the way, let me know. And then, there's a long sail across the Atlantic. Mac, you look like you're ready to say something.
There's just something that I want to do once we get to the Atlantic part, but if anyone has anything before that, yeah.
Sounds like you're good.
All right. Doc has been incredibly, uncomfortably for Doc quiet for most of the journey until we have gotten on the ship. And still it takes a while for them to say anything, but whenever we're all together at some point on the ship, around the beginning of the journey, he'll finally just start talking and just ask, which of you was it? The second I left the room to go help the people in their prisons.
It was me.
Which of you was it?
It was me.
Do I believe that?
I'm going to do a quick assess honesty.
I think you have enough skills and enough experience with James that you do believe
it was
that.
Sal. No, the one with Sal.
No,
Never-
I'm pretty sure James was.
No, it's how he came behind and cut the guy's throat.
Oh, right.
Oh, I wasn't thinking of that one. I was thinking.
No, not the hotel.
Okay,
whenever we were-
sorry.
the
There
pits
have
in
been
the
so many murders. I lose track.
Like, no, I don't believe you. I don't believe it was you. Like, yes, it was. Wow, this is really weird.
So many hobos, so many
Now
bodies.
Why
we're
would he-
gaslighting Mac. It's horrible.
Yeah. Why am I being disbelieved for murdering someone in my own room?
So James says nothing.
Sal says it was me.
Okay. Sal. That's not how he says it. Doc will look to you. I don't really know how to talk to somebody in your line of work, and may never figure out how. So when
I
we
would
get
suggest quietly from a distance.
home, then you make bad suggestions. When we get home, you go straight to Bianca, tell her how much you love her, and make sure that you're the type of person you're comfortable with her being around.
I'll take it under advisement, Doc.
As terrible as y'all are at speaking, know that my door is always open. Ian will never figure out what to say. Just get your ass right to Bianca, you understand me?
What I do with my time, Doc, is my own. If you don't like it, you can go to hell.
It seems we're all on our way there either way. However long we have in Chicago, I want to see that if I tell you all we're meant to go next, I'm not sending you down a path that can't get you out of. I'm still a doctor, damn it. I can't be sending people down to hell, even if they want to go. So when we get back together, if I have confidence, I'll see you all on the other side of this. With your hearts and your heads, I'll tell you where we're going next. And that's all he has.
I get the sense that on this long trip back, even though everybody is, you're traveling together, sometimes you're, packed closely into a train car or whatever. I feel like everybody's really kind of alone during this trip. Everybody's in their own mind, in their own thoughts, and there's not a lot of conversation going on.
Yep.
So it's not a fun journey. But in any event, in early September, you make it back to New York.
Before the cruise ship, before the ocean liner arrives, Alice is going to take Doc aside want to speak to Doc one-on-one. So just I think we'll probably make landfall this evening, tomorrow morning. Shall we have a stroll on deck?
Sure thing, Alice.
Okay. So shouldn't be too hard on the men. They did what they thought was right. They did what they thought was needed. They were. It's not pretty. And we don't always agree. And probably some of it wasn't smart either. But this is thing you need to understand, Adrian, is this is war. We are at war. And we need to rely on each other. We need to trust each other. We need to back each other. So don't be too hard on them. But yeah. Are you all right?
I want to say I've seen worse. Else, what are we at war with?
I'm not sure. I don't know. It's something, and to be quite honest,
Not the thing from space, from the stars. People. What kind of people?
people just like everywhere. It's all the same. There'll be misguided people. There'll be greedy, fearful, ambitious, stupid. I mean, and that's the horror of it. They're just people like us making choices. But they've made their choices. We're making ours, and that thing, or whatever it is, that's what we need to combat. It's war, and there's going to be victims, and yeah, we've just got to deal with it as best we can. So.
We're just people making choices too, Alice.
Yeah, but you can't
Alice,
let it stop you.
do you know why I don't want to tell them where we should be going next?
Why not?
It's not that I don't trust any of you. It's not that I don't care about any of you.
Mhm.
The fact that I haven't ripped any of your heads off yet should be indication enough that I care about you. When I was talking with Savagery, I already had my thoughts, but I think I've come to the conclusion that whatever this thing is, it feeds on humans doing the worst things imaginable. It doesn't just need blood, it doesn't just need lives, it needs your conscience, it needs your soul. And I don't ever seem to have the right words to make sure that you all keep your soul if you go and fight this. I can't watch all of you live, become shells of what you once were, or die, knowing that I'm the one who led you to it. I've tried being nice, and I've tried being harsh. You saw us out. That didn't help any. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do to talk to James, but I certainly need to talk to him, too.
Adrian, the thing about war and the thing about something like this is that you need to accept is that we're not coming out of this the way we went in. Maybe we'll live, but this is the cost. And the thing is, I'm willing, you need to allow us to make the choice to pay that cost. It's our choice. It's our responsibility. And that thing, as you said, it feeds on human suffering. It feeds on and horrible deeds. And the horrible thing is we're going to have to do horrible things as well. And that's going to cost, but somebody needs to do that. Somebody needs to pay. And
What if nobody
I'm
does?
willing to pay that price. And I think, you need to decide for yourself, but I need you. We all need you to make that. And if Sal, and James make the decision for themselves, you need to let them make the decision for themselves. It's not on you.
I'm a doctor, Alice. It's my habit to make it on me.
Well, I'm a nurse, and it's on me to patch people up. But it's not on you. You're here to help us. You're here to point us in the right way, point us in the right direction, point me in the right direction, and keep us going. And then, in the end, well, hopefully we'll have made the world a slightly less horrible place. But what are you going to tell Janet?
I don't know.
Shall I? I'll go see her when we're back in New York. Perhaps if you travel on to Chicago with the boys, I'll meet you up there. Meet you there later.
Do you not have anything you need to do in Chicago?
I'll join you in Chicago,
Okay.
but I'll come a bit later. Just let me meet up with Janet. You get Sal back to the Bianca and stop James from drinking himself into whatever.
I don't think that's what we have to worry about.
Well, keep him. But I need you. We all need you, and let us make that choice.
Doesn't mean I'm going to be any less angry.
That's fine. It's good to be angry.
God, Sal made a mistake saying I would work well with his group. I wouldn't last 5 seconds. I'd be shot on sight. Be perfect. I go down with the best words.
Okay. Just again, we're all doing the best we can, and we'll make mistakes. And Alice kind of stretches and twinges, touches the scars on her back. It's like, but we're still here, and you'll point us in the right direction. I'm sure of it.
All right. I think we've got a pretty good idea of how things are going with Adrian and Alice. I'd like to get a feel, if we were to cut to just seeing James in his cabin on this journey, what is he doing with his time? Because there's days and days of nothing to do while you're waiting for this thing to get where it's going.
Yeah, I think that there are days of me missing. You don't see me on deck. I don't come to breakfast. I'm drinking a good bit, but I'm doing it in my cabin, so I'm not going anywhere. I'm still shaving. I'm still dressing, running my laundry. I think periodically I might try to, kind of sit and say nothing, but sit with Sal. Just share space with him. I'm avoidant of Allison and Doc, I think. Excuse me.
Okay.
But yeah, it's very solitary, very quiet. I think that I will say a tenth of the words to anyone in these 2 weeks that I did in a day, at any, in Mexico or out east.
Mm-hmm.
Just very quiet.
Okay. And how about Sal? What if we see him? What are we seeing?
I think Sal for him, he's absolutely withdrawn. I mean, he's not the kind of happy-go-lucky guy that he was in Mexico. Cutting up, having fun. That's all gone. He is very much. He's in a very dark place now, and he's not sure that he's going to be able to get away from it.
Okay. So is he mostly just staying in his room by himself?
Yeah, he'll take some trips, to get fresh air. But other than that, it's pretty much just, take meals in his room, maybe eat some, maybe not, and just kind of just let the time pass.
Okay. All right. Well, eventually, the steamer does arrive in New York. You're able to disembark. So I'm getting the impression that Alice is going to stay in town for a day or two to meet with Janet Winston Rogers while the rest of the team moves on to Chicago.
Alice is getting a very big hug before we part ways.
And I'm hugging everybody. I mean, during the trip, I've been checking up on wounds and that type of stuff. So
yeah, physically, everybody seems to be in good shape.
So take care. I'll meet up with you in Chicago in a day or two.
Okay. So let's talk about what that meeting with Janet looks like. You're able to give her a call or a telegram, and she invites you to her place. She seems a little surprised or maybe worried when you say it's just you. But she, she says, yes, please come over at your convenience, and gives you the address. It's really, kind of a prototypical mansion in upstate New York, an hour or so out of the city. And it feels like this is clearly a place that was once a big, sprawling family home with lots of, brothers and kids and everything. And now it's kind of just her and a skeleton staff. And it just feels too big and too empty for one person.
Is it the same place where she lived where her parents lived as well, where I nursed her mother?
Yeah, this is what. So the place, but it just does feel emptier than you remember. And when the door opens, she opens it herself. And she, again, as you get to the door, she kind of looks around briefly, is expecting there to be someone else, and says, please come in. And sort of as she's walking you to the little parlor, where she sees people, she says, what's going on?
A lot. The others are on the way back to Chicago. Everybody's, we got a bit beat up in Bangkok and Mexico, to be quite honest. But
okay,
they're all right. They're all right. Just we thought it'd be best if I, came and kind of updated you on person on what we've been doing. Well, all this money of yours we've been spending, I hope. Well, yeah.
What are you all doing? And I'm not saying that because I think you're abusing my trust or misusing my money, but I still don't know what's happening. I don't know how my father is connected to all of this. I believe that you're doing what you think is the right thing to find all of this, but I don't understand.
To be quite honest, I don't understand all of it either. I don't know if it could be understood, but you need to. I'm not sure how much Adrian has shared with you, and I think we've been a bit hesitant to share too many details over the telegraph. But your father was Your father was fighting something that is absolutely horrible. Your father was doing something really, really good. I'd say, but it cost him, and it cost your mother, it cost you. And the thing is, he was, I think he managed to set it back, but it's growing again. And that's what we discovered in Los Angeles. And what we're doing now is we're trying to finish the work your father started, so that so that what he did and what the price your family paid is not for nothing. And the reason why we sent you into, we asked you to stay with Sal's friends is that I think your father stopped to keep you safe, to keep your mother safe. That's why he withdrew entirely, and perhaps he thought that he finished it, but it wasn't finished, and we're in too deep now to stop. So we're trying to keep you as divorced and as remote from it as we can, so that it doesn't get it back to you any further. But
I appreciate that. Dr. Fisher was saying much the same thing, but I don't want to be isolated. I don't want to be out of the loop. If you're traveling across the world, this is something that didn't just scare my father. It broke him. It destroyed him. And I don't want that to happen to any of you. And it sounds like whatever you're doing is dangerous and terrifying, but I want to understand what it is.
it is all of that. And you want to protect us, and we want to protect you. And perhaps part of it is just, the hesitation is that if you haven't seen it, you have to see it to believe it. And once you've seen it, you can't see it. But I hope you don't think I'm crazy, but it's unnatural. Whatever this, and that's why we're hesitant to get you too involved, to share too much. But if you really want to know,
I think it's important that I do know, because if, God forbid, anything happens to any of you, this doesn't sound like something that should be left alone.
you're right. You're entirely right. We need to finish your father's work, and to be quite honest, we are going to do our best, but we might not succeed. So so you might need to find others as well. And then Alice, sorry.
Let me propose something then, because I can tell from talking to you and from talking to Dr. Fisher that no one wants to really tell me what's going on. And God help me, I trust you all to do the right thing. But
if you really want to know, I'll tell you.
If you think it's better that I don't know now, can you, I don't know, put it in a letter or a book or something and send it to me, and I won't read it until, hopefully I'll never have to, but if anything happens.
I can do that.
I mean, if you think you can tell me, but if you don't want to, I think I would want something like that.
I think I'd like to tell you,
Okay.
if that's all right. If you're
And she, and she, and she has had, like, a butler has brought in tea, and she basically goes over to the sideboard, pulls out a nice crystal decanter of whiskey, pours some in her tea, offers some for yours, and then sets it on the table between you and sits down and says, "Go ahead."
Okay. And I'll stand up, and I imagine it's actually a very nice sunny fall afternoon. I close the door to the sitting room, and I open the curtains entirely. So we are actually sitting in the sun, and it is really pleasant and very nice and very calm. And then I describe in detail what we found in Los Angeles, what we found in the temple in Mexico.
And you can see, as you start telling the story, that obviously this is crazy. Obviously there is something wrong. And then the more detail you describe and the more sincere you are about it, and the more she draws connections with the vague reports and information she's gotten back, you can see kind of the color draining from her face as she realizes how serious you are. And by the end of the story, you get the idea that she's come to some sort of internal resolution. And she says, "I don't know how my father and his friends got involved in this, but I'm grateful for everything that you and the others have done, and I want you to know that you have everything I can give you to put an end to this. I don't know how, I don't know what it will be. I don't know. It doesn't sound like the sort of problem that money can solve, but if there's any resources that you need, ask me."
Alice reaches across and takes Janet's hand and grips them, not unpleasantly tight, but just looks at her and says, "Janet, we will finish what your father started, and we will make it right."
And she closes your eyes as you do that, and you can actually see some very quiet tears running down her nose, and she says, "I know you will."
We'll leave it at fake reports. We'll leave it at stuff, but I'll make sure. I think we're going to need the others need some downtime. And Doc Adrian's, well, they'll figure out where we need to go next. And
I still think that you should put together some kind of document in case.
I'll check with the doc. I think they're the best suited to make sure we have that. We make sure we'll let you know where it is, so that if the worst does come to the worst, that somebody else can take over.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janet.
All right, so we will cut over to Chicago, where everybody arrives home in whatever fashion. And I think I'd like to start with Sal. You get off the train. Where are you going first? What's the plan?
He'll go back to his house.
Mm-hmm.
Drop his stuff off, take a shower, and then he'll call Bianca.
Okay. Hello?
I'm back in town, hon.
Oh, God, I was so worried. You said you were going to write. You never wrote.
It was difficult. The time didn't allow for that, unfortunately. Are you busy right now?
No, I'm working tonight, but I got the day.
Okay. Do you mind if I come over? And
Please,
talk
no, I'd
about
love
it?
to see you. I'd love to see you.
Okay. I'll be over shortly.
All right.
So he's going to get, cleaned up, dressed, whatever.
Mhm.
Nothing fancy, just like a pair of jeans and a t-shirt.
Sure.
And then he's going to go over and he'll, of course, knock and
Yeah. I will say, when you get there, you do notice that, like, down the block, there is a guy that you recognize as one of Tony's guys, who's just kind of, there's like he's sitting outside in a cafe reading a newspaper, and as you approach Bianca's door, he kind of looks up and sees you and just nods and goes back to what
return
he's
the
doing.
nod.
As soon as you knock the door, it seems almost like she was standing on the other side of it waiting for you.
Yeah.
When she opens the door, is Sal putting on a brave face, or is she gonna know right away that you're okay?
No, she'll know right away.
Okay. So she opens the door and she looks at you. And she just kind of reaches out and does her best to, like, enfold you in this enormous hug and just says, "Come inside."
He does so.
Okay. And she shuts the door. What do you want? You want a beer? You want a soda pop? What?
You have scotch.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna need something a little stronger than a beer.
Yeah, and she brings 2 glasses in the bottle,
Okay.
and sits next to you on the couch, and just kind of puts a hand on your leg, and waits.
Okay. When we started seeing each other, I told you that I would be absolutely transparent with you. You know who I am. You know who I work for. You know who I run with. You know what I do. I mean, it's no big secret. You're a good Catholic. We'll start with that. I assume you believe in the concepts of good and evil on a cosmic scale.
Sure.
Sal kind of sighs heavily, takes another drink, and says, the thing with being a part of the outfit, says everything is pretty black and white. Says, you've got the other gangsters, you've got us. We kill them, they kill us. We don't touch their families. Those are rules of engagement, and the ones we stick by. What this thing that we're fighting, and I know I'm going to sound crazy. It's not. It's nothing natural. It's nothing of this world. I just call it the devil, and that would be a good start. And I know I sound crazy, but hear me out. This thing, I'm pretty sure I'm damned. I mean,
Don't say that.
The number of sins that stain my soul, they hang over me like a sword of Damocles, and I don't know that I can get away from that. I know you're Catholic and you think, hey, go to church, talk to the priest at confessional. Says, I've been there, I'm not the churchy kind of guy, but I was raised Catholic. But I don't know that something like that will ever begin to erase the things that I've done. Not necessarily with involving humans, but what I've had to do when combating this evil.
I mean, I'm not a priest or nothing, but I mean, I think if you're doing bad things to fight evil, that's got to count for something, right?
I'm hoping that it does. You know, I'm really hoping that it does. Because if it doesn't, I don't know where I'll go. I don't know what will become of me. What will become of the world, in fact. And again, I know this sounds crazy, but this isn't human. It doesn't play by humanity's rules. It has no problems using people, just abusing people. And I've had to do some things that I don't necessarily, certainly not proud of. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't know if I can go on with it. It's a hard fight, and I fear that I'm losing myself in the fight.
And she looks like she wants to say something, but after a moment, she just kind of comes over and almost curls up in your lap and just holds you.
Okay, and Sal will absolutely just let her and kind of embrace her as much as he can and just sit quietly with her for as long as he can.
And I think we'll cut away from that for now and circle back in a bit. What does James do when he gets home, or is home where he's going first?
Yeah, I would go home, stop by the market after I kind of, unload and unpack, stop at the liquor store. I spend more at the liquor store than I do at the market. And give a quick call to my sister. Let her know I'm going to be in town for just a little bit. But I'll try to come over.
Yeah, Jimmy, do that. I'm still having those nightmares. I don't know. I'm glad you're okay, but I don't know. I'm scared for you.
I'm scared too. But tell me about Tell me about the nightmares. What are they now?
I don't want to do it on the phone. Just come over, tonight or tomorrow, whatever works. You just, in the dreams, you're so angry. You're so angry.
Yeah, I'll come over tomorrow night and I hang out.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And then, as far as your day here, we kind of continuing the pattern we saw on the ship.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody bothers you. Doc, where do you go once you get back to Chicago?
They don't really know where to go. They just kind of has to be stopped, like has to get out in the center of the city, around where their the workplace is, which isn't too far from where they live, but they don't exactly know which one they're going to walk to first. They kind of just sit on a bench for a good while.
Okay.
And then they decide to get up, they go and check on Miss Helen, and then they go home.
Okay. Helen seems to be doing well. There's no sign that she's fallen off the wagon since the last time you talked. So she's glad to see you. She apologizes. There was a burst pipe in her bathroom at one point, and she doesn't know if anything leaked down into your office. You know, she hopes it's okay. Actually, I guess would you have given her like a key to your office to like get a plumber in or something, or would is that
Probably not.
okay? So she says, I think I stopped it before it got too bad. I hope it's not too bad in there.
And that's not because he doesn't tell it. He just forgot because my boy scatterbrained. He kind of forgot to give her a key before he left. He meant to.
Yep, these things happen.
I didn't give you a key, did I? It's all
No.
right. Thank you so much for taking care of it. You okay? You
Sure.
good okay?
Yeah, I'm doing all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Glad you're okay.
Yeah.
I'll go check on the water damage, make sure it's not something that's going to creep up back to you, okay?
Sure, thank you.
Of course.
And you go down and have a look, and it's kind of in the corner of your office. The good news is it was more or less directly over like I don't know, I'm guessing you may have some kind of potted plant in the corner of the office to give a little bit of life. So obviously there's a big kind of rusty watery stain in the corner, maybe not quite a foot across, and some bits of plaster have flaked off, but beyond that it doesn't look like there's much damage.
That plant's going to become Audrey too, I swear to God.
I mean, it looks like that may be all the water it's gotten while you were away, so it's pretty wilted.
I'm going to make sure that Miss Helen has a key.
Okay.
He forgot to do that before he came back down. It's like, if only there's somebody who could take care of these. Like, he walks back up.
Okay.
Key. I'm sorry. Everything looks okay.
All right, fine. And she, so you basically ask her to water the plants when you're out. Not that you're going to be here for a while, but all right. And as you close up and you're, I guess heading back home at this point after you've dealt with the office stuff, a man kind of falls into step next to you. Just kind of a nondescript, maybe 30-ish guy, a little bit of a sharp nose, in business dress like you might wear, as a businessman. Yes.
Then, what do I recognize this person? Or
You do not. No.
Okay, then Adrian is going to say, "Oh, good to meet you, nondescript man in about your 30s, looking like a businessman."
And he just says, is that your office back there?
It could be.
I mean, it's your name on the
Who's
door,
to say
right?
these days? I mean, I'm glad I'm getting some recognition if you do know my name.
Yeah, well, it's good to know these things.
It's good to know
So,
these things. So
yeah.
how can I help you, nondescript businessman?
Nothing. I just wanted to
Hey,
say
if you know
hi.
my name, can I know your name?
I don't think we need to. I don't think we need to take
shame.
it to that level.
Shame, Go on then.
I was just going to ask about the young lady upstairs. I didn't think she'd be your type.
I'm a type. What are you talking about?
And he kind of looks over and gives you a wink, which is not at all convincing. It's practically a wink.
You mean my neighbor who I forgot to get?
Oh, your neighbor. Yeah. That's right. Neighbor you've been putting up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice kid, though. At least she remembers to lock up when she gets home.
She's smart.
Yeah.
It's hard to find smart people in this town nowadays, isn't it?
Hmm. Yeah, a lot of people do stupid things. So you're at this point, you're kind of approaching where your apartment is. Do you plan to keep going home? Do you stop? Do you keep
Why
walking
not?
past it? Okay.
Why not? Come
Okay.
aboard.
Okay. Well, he kind of stops kind of at the foot of the stairs leading into your building, and just kind of
Oh no, come on, we're continuing this conversation. You're on it now.
sorry, I got things to do. But
Like being nondescript
anyway.
to wear a business suit?
You like talking, don't you? Yeah, that's good.
Oh, I love it. It's my job, isn't it?
I guess it is.
Is there someone else I'm meant to be talking to? Is there somebody who's meant to talk to us?
No, just wanted to let you know that
Yeah.
you got friends around.
I love having friends, It's always good to have friends.
Sure. And he actually thinks for a moment and reaches very carefully into like his jacket pocket, his breast pocket, and pulls out a little vial of that orange liquid that you've seen going around all this time. And he says, "This one's on the house," and offers it to you.
This what's left of you all these days?
Oh, we got plenty more where that came from.
I imagine so. Well, I'll be sure to keep good care of it then.
He nods and tips his hat, starts walking back the way he came.
Oh, one more thing. I don't mean to be rude, but I really wasn't lying when you said you are Mr. Nondescript. So whenever you get back to whoever it was that did send you, just tell them I say hi. If they ever need to talk, they know that my door's open. I forget to lock it sometimes.
Shouldn't do that. It's a dangerous town. But I'll pass it on.
Oh, the world is dangerous, isn't it?
He nods and heads away.
Prick.
Safe answer. Safe response. All right. And
So I'm gonna need your help. I'm gonna need to relocate somebody. So I'm gonna need to relocate somebody.
so I think the first day or so passes much like that. Sal, you're gonna get, I think, your first. Actually, roll me a d6 if you would. Yeah, you get 6 stability back from just kind of being able to let this all out for with Bianca, feeling much better. And
At least
anything
I'm in the positives now.
Yes, that's always a good thing. So, yeah, and then I think the one other thing that happens that day, unless one of you has something that you want to do, James, you've been doing a lot of drinking lately, and part of it, I think, is to help you sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is hard doing that. And that night, probably around, I don't know, 3 a.m, somewhere in the dark hours, you kind of wake up with a sour stomach, and you kind of stumble into the bathroom, and leaning over the sink, thinking you might have to throw up, and then there's a noise in your mouth. Kind of.
There's what now?
There's a noise in your mouth. kind of a little crackling sound almost. And
Go. Yeah.
you kind of look in the mirror and kind of look and see, and you don't see anything at first. And then in your front tooth right here, one of the big wide ones, there's this tapping, and a bit of the enamel on that front tooth flakes off like a piece of eggshell. And you can see inside that there, it's like a beak trying to peck its way out of an egg, only it's just more teeth. And as it kind of breaks through and you see this tiny little mouth and this tiny little hole in your tooth, and you can feel more of that tapping in other teeth, just filling your mouth with it and that crackling noise. And you can see that it's reaching out and trying to get a hold of your tongue. And then you sit bolt upright in bed.
Run to the mirror.
Yep. No, everything's fine. Everything's absolutely fine.
I get sick.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I get sick. And I go back into, and I'm imagining my apartment is small, dinette, kitchen, couch, all in the same area, right?
Yeah, a little studio. Yeah.
Yeah, and one bedroom and a small bathroom in the back, and I go into the main area. And I grab some vodka and a glass. Don't bother with any ice or anything. I look at my watch and realize it's like 3:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I just I look at the bottle and I don't pour it for myself. I just look at it. And then I think I stand up. I go get my gun and I set it next to the bottle. And I think I just sit there looking at the glass, the bottle, and my gun until I fall back to sleep, probably in the chair.
Let's take 10 minutes. right. Well, come the morning, I think I want to pick up with Sal the following day. So Bianca has basically been everything you could want from a supportive perspective. You know, she's listening as much as you want to talk. She doesn't pry with questions, but I think there's kind of an unspoken question that's sort of hovering around, which is, do you want to keep doing this? Are you going to keep doing this? And she doesn't say it, but you can tell that she's almost afraid to put it into words. So I don't know if Sal's even made that decision yet.
Yeah, he has actually.
Okay.
So he will continue, and
Okay.
you know, somebody's got to take care of this. Someone's got to fight this thing.
Mm-hmm. So I think maybe what happens at one point is, you know, when you're, I don't know, maybe you go to lunch with, you know, with Bianca at a nearby place or something, and she sort of asks, so there's a new movie coming out that looks good next week. Are you gonna be in town?
Maybe, I'm not sure. I don't know what the how long we're going to be in Chicago for.
I don't think that's been decided. Yeah.
I'd be happy to go see it with you.
Okay, I'd like that. Yeah, and she's, you know, again, seems satisfied with that. I mean, she's not pressuring you to stay, but you get the impression that she will be happy to have you here as long as you can and want to be here.
Right.
I guess the real question is, do you tell her any more details or tell her about your plans, or are you just kind of leaving it with what you've said so far?
I'll leave it with what I've said. If she has specific questions that she voices, any concerns about, whatever, he will absolutely answer them.
I mean, you know she has questions and concerns, but she is very carefully not asking them.
He will point blank ask her, I know you have questions. Please let me know them.
I mean, my real question is there somebody else that can do this? I don't like what it's doing to you.
I'm not sure. I don't know that I could rest. That's not a good word. Maybe I'll be myself or live with myself, having to put someone through this hell. And I know that's not the answer that you want to hear, but you know, I've got baggage that I carry, and I'm okay with that. This is just more baggage, but it's not the kind I want anybody else to have to carry.
Can I help?
Just be here for me, babe. That's all I can ask. I don't. This is, again, it's. I've seen a lot of horrible things. I've done a lot of horrible things. What I've seen and what I have done doesn't begin to scratch the surface of how evil this thing is. I don't want to expose you to that.
Okay.
But just it's enough that you're here, that I can come to you and just exist with you while I find myself. You're my signpost. Without you, I am absolutely lost.
Just come back to me.
I will. I will move heaven and earth to come back to you.
Yeah. And then James. So I think you wake up in the morning with the bottle and the glass and the gun on the table in front of you. What does that look like when you sort of come to that?
Pick up the gun, put it back in the drawer. Pour myself a little drink, little maintenance drink. Get rid of the shakes in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Put the bottle away. Cook up something from using what I bought in the market.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go see Mary and the kids tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But I will need to go to the bank at some point today.
Okay.
Get an account opened, move a little bit of money. We've not talked about it, but I think I have built up a good nest egg for myself. Still, I'm getting the pension. I think that's directly going to an account. I'm living off of the PI work, and it's just me and my
You're living
little
cheap.
apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I've built up a decent amount of cash. So I want to have an account opened. I'm not going to move money into it yet, but I'll have a conversation with one of the bankers that essentially says, in my will, there'll be instructions to move this money from, this account to that account, and just some admin type stuff.
Now, I remember last time you were here, you had given a bunch of documentation to your ex-wife about, your property and accounts and stuff. So is this separate from that?
This is separate from that. Yep.
Okay.
And the instruction is not to move everything out, right? So it's still going to, upon my demise, my ex-wife will still get a good chunk of things, but this is something separate, but not complete.
Okay.
So,
okay. All right. So we'll leave that as a little mystery for now. So let's cut ahead to the visit with Mary. So she said you're welcome for dinner, or if you want to come by after, whatever works.
I would come for dinner.
Okay.
Come for dinner, bring flowers.
Yeah. So, dinner is kind of a crowded and busy affair. You got a couple kids. Mary is running back and forth to the kitchen most of the time. Bruce, I feel like, is a guy that you two have never quite connected. It's not like you resent him, or maybe you do. I don't know.
Nope.
But it's just like, he seems like he still hasn't quite forgiven you for being the other man in her life or whatever. So he's certainly polite and everything, but there's not a lot of it there. The kids are, of course, asking you tons of questions about whether you caught any bad guys or if you had to shoot anybody.
Yeah.
I'm imagining, well, you tell me what kind of answers you give to questions like that.
I think I fall away a little bit into like a different place when I'm talking to those kids, and and I think I tell them that I've been I've been fighting bad guys, and I got on a plane and a boat, and give a very pulp version of things without really, has no accuracy or and in no way tied to it, right? That I went to Mexico and explain where that is,
And Mary gives you a little bit of side eye when you talk about going to Mexico.
Yep. And I say, hey, and then I found a bad guy there and I put him in jail. And then, I went out east, and that was 2 boats and 4 planes.
Wow.
And I found a bad guy there, and I put that bad guy in jail. I think all the bad guys are gone in Chicago, so I think I need to go again soon to find more bad guys. But yeah, and really just enjoy telling that version of the last several months of my life.
I like it. And then kind of dinner finishes up, and Mary gets the kids to bring the dirty dishes into the kitchen and that kind of thing. And she goes over and has a quiet conversation with Bruce. And basically he goes in the kitchen to do the dishes, which he does not seem entirely comfortable with.
Yeah.
But it's clear that, Mary wants a chance to talk to you alone. She says, see, you're getting all the bad guys, huh?
Yeah. Wasn't sure I'd be back, Mary. I'm going to be leaving again. And I'm not sure where I'm going.
Jesus, Jimmy, what are you mixed up in?
Some real bad stuff.
Yeah, I know. That worries me.
Yeah. I've opened an account for the kids, and I slide like an envelope over to her. And whether you want to use it for the school or whatever, there's nothing in there now. But I'll be moving money there. But that this is for the kids. And I just want to make sure they're taken care of too.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be fine, but when you talk like this, it scares me, Jimmy.
I'm scared too, Mary.
Well, can you get out of it? Talk to me. Tell me what's going on.
I think I fall back into my chair, look up at the ceiling a little bit. Make eye contact again. I can't explain it, Mary. I can just tell you that I have to do this. And if I don't, really bad things are going to happen. Really bad things are already happening. And there's nobody else but me that has any chance of stopping this. It's all I can explain to you. And you have to trust me and just know that I'm the only one that can do this.
There's always people you can count on, Jimmy.
I know. And I do count on you.
That's not what I mean, but I mean, you still got friends on the force. You got there. You don't have to carry all this alone.
It's really, really good to see you.
And you see out of the corner of your eye, Bruce kind of comes around the kitchen door, and she just kind of puts a hand up, and he goes back and starts talking to the kids.
I start standing up, and I think Mary can tell that I want to talk, but I don't have words.
Do
she knows me well enough.
Do you want to go for a walk or something?
I gotta get back home. It's late.
It's 8:30. It's not.
Yeah. It's really nice. This was nice. Thank you. This was really nice.
Jimmy.
And I kind of yell into the kitchen, Bruce, thanks again. Sammy, Connor, you two, it's late. You two should go to bed.
I'm brushing my teeth.
Jesus. I'm gonna go ahead.
Yeah, and she just basically comes in and hugs you and just holds you for a long time.
Yeah, and I give her a pretty tight squeeze.
Mhm.
And I think communicating, just thank you,
Mhm.
and for not just dinner. Kiss her on the forehead.
Yeah. Remember, you can always talk to me.
I know, and you if you keep having trouble sleeping, if you keep having nightmares, you need to talk to somebody, Mary.
I don't know.
You're giving me advice.
I'll see. I've been talking to the doctor. Maybe he can get me a prescription for luminol. Something.
Okay.
You in the dreams, and I don't want to throw you off with this, but it's like you keep yelling at me to leave you alone, and I don't want that. And when I try and get close to you, you get angry, and I don't want that. But
Those are
I
just
don't
dreams, Mary. They're just dreams.
Just know that I'm here. Okay.
My demeanor very much changes, stiff
Mhm.
spine,
Yep.
and I let myself out.
Okay. Alice, when you get in Chicago, what do we see?
Alice is arrives at the station. She takes a moment because she really loves the central station in Chicago. She just, spends a minute or so just standing in the hall, looking around, watching the people go by. This lively place, and then just, kind of straightens up, heads out, hails a cab, goes back to her place, checks the mail and goes
Bills.
through all the letters. And so, and she's like, opening it and then chucking most of it. And then she opens a letter from her sister, Janice, which is inviting her to a birthday party for kid number. And she's like, and she just tosses it in the trash as well.
In the pile.
And just like she's done all the admin. She does the washing. She gets everything done. She packs again. She gets everything ready, and then she's going to. I assume this is probably late afternoon.
Mhm.
She's probably going to head out and head over to Doc Adrian's place.
Okay. Speaking of which, what is Doc Adrian doing the following day? You're still there. You are.
Yeah, sorry, I was just setting the mic back up. He's debating when to actually go over to talk to James, because he did promise Alice that he would go talk to James, but he doesn't know what he's going to say.
Right.
So he's like, "All right, okay, I'll go at this time of day." He's like making a schedule of like what is like, what is the statistically best time to go talk to somebody about it? If they just hears a knock on his door,
Okay.
and I hope it's Alice.
Yeah. Let's say it.
I hope it's Alice.
It's the guy again. It's Mr. Nondescript. Ah, you.
This your apartment?
It's late
No.
after. Yeah, no, I'm assuming it's at the apartment. So
Yeah.
that's the last
And I feel like part of it is that Doc has been basically finding other things that they need to do to put off going to talk to James. So I think it's like, all right, now I'm totally going to go. And then Alice arrives on your doorstep.
Oh well, can't go. Shucks. Oh.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
I met a very nondescript person yesterday. May need to figure out how to talk to Sal, and I don't think he'll want to talk to me, but details, you come in.
Okay.
And if Alice does come in, there's not much in to come into. It's very, very small.
Mm.
The bed's next to the kitchen, and like just the bathroom's the only thing that's in a different room.
We've been here before. We burned something in the backyard.
Yeah.
We got smoke inhalation. So what do you mean somebody nondescript? What happened?
Just was walking back home from checking on the office, checking on my friend Helen. Somebody came up to me, started talking. Definitely, was talking for somebody else. Made very just honestly, the theatrics was just all off. He couldn't even give a good threat to Helen and her kid. But yeah, I need to figure out how to get them out of this.
Okay. Well, we already knew that they're onto us here, so yeah. If Sal can't help out, I may have a contact. I don't know if Helen's willing to move, but I do know somebody.
It's the way that where she's staying right now is a temporary place that I rent out to her if she ever needs it. Unfortunately, she doesn't really have a set place that she stays.
I have a friend. He's a former army chaplain. It's Anglican. I don't know if that's a problem, but he's done some good work with. He might be able to find her another place, someplace else in the city if she wants to stay here or elsewhere. It's whatever you want.
Well, if he's fine with her line of business, then I'll talk to her first. But
What is her line of business?
oh, sex work. She doesn't have to mention that. She doesn't have to, but
Yeah, well,
it would be helpful if he wasn't going to ask questions about it.
No, I think
She works
he's
odd
great.
jobs.
Odd job.
Yes, odd jobs.
Listen,
Well,
the first thing that
he's an army chaplain. He's seen enough. He'll understand.
the things you emphasize were army chaplain and Anglican. Doc has to make sure real quick. I'm like, okay, this is the main job I meant when I say odd jobs. That I'm kind of.
As long as she doesn't, no, that should be all right. I spoke to Janet, so she's good. She's on board. She did have a really good suggestion. I think that's probably, I think you were already doing that, is we need to keep some kind of record, or, if anything happens to us, that somebody else can, that they know where to go and where to go on from that. So
I've been keeping notes, but I'll try to arrange them in a way that anybody else but me can read.
Yeah, so I think that's. But Janet's got our back, and you're going to point us in the right direction.
I'll do my best. I have bits and pieces of ideas of where to go. Obviously, first step's probably Malta, but I just really hope I didn't push Sal away further. I thought maybe being harsh would be better than not saying anything, but I don't know.
I think, if Sal's gone to see Bianca, I've seen that look before. I'm just, give him some time with Bianca, and then if he's up to it, and if have you spoken with James yet? Is he all right?
Figure it out.
Do you want me to check in on him?
No, I can do it. You already talked to Janet for me, which I can't thank you enough for. Hey Alice. I know this is stupid, but you don't think Sal thinks that I think he's a bad guy? Do you? He doesn't.
Sal knows exactly who he is. And I'm sure he knows that you know that he's not, you know who he is. Sal's.
That's why I was harsh on him, is I know how good he can be. I don't want him to think that I think he's some kind of monster like what we're fighting.
But
Yeah, I don't talk to people in his line of work often. They're usually the reason I'm talking to people in my line of work.
Sal did, I think, you know, you were angry and you were harsh, and I understand that. Sal did what he felt was necessary to keep us safe. And we might not agree with that, but we need to respect that. And I'm sure that he understands that this is different for you. So, as I said, cut him some slack.
I've just heard a lot of people saying they're just doing things to keep people safe.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that Mr. Nondescript is not doing whatever he is. Well, or whoever he's keeping safe is not somebody who deserves, or not something that deserves to keep safe. So if you want, I can get Helen in contact with my my friend. He's done some work with I don't know, well, women who need to move. So
Thank you.
yeah, and then I think that, well, take whatever time you need to figure out where we go next to unwind. See if you can get James on board, and I think then we meet up and we see how we can get as prepared as we can for wherever we're going next.
Alice, are you okay?
I'm good. Don't worry about me.
See, everyone keeps saying that, but it is kind of my job to worry about people.
Well, don't worry. At this time, you don't need to worry any extra than you already have. Just, I think James and Sal, to some degree, perhaps have some experience with the horrors of humanity. But well, it's been some time, but I've had my share as well. So it's calluses. It'll help me through. But I know where, if it ever I feel it's getting too much for me, I know where to find you. So, and then she stands up and she kind of pats him awkwardly and says, well, you're heading over to James?
Yeah.
So I think we'll leave Sal and Bianca. I'll send him a note, and perhaps shall I send out an invite when we get together tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. And I look around for a piece of paper, scribble down the contacts of my army chaplain friend, and say, well,
Okay.
if you want, you can give this to Helen. He's good.
Alice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're doing all right. You're doing fine.
Well, let's just keep trying to do my best for them. And for you.
And Alice is going to head back home.
Mm-hmm.
And she makes herself some tea and then just sits on the side of her bed and drinks tea.
I think that I think that whenever Alice is leaving, she goes to close the door, and then the doctor's like, "Oh, actually, leave the door open. I'm trying to send a message."
Whatever you want. and I leave it on a
Okay.
slightly ajar.
Perfect. This is what I call fighting that.
It's an interesting approach. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out. Right. So it sounds like Adrian is going to go visit James.
And is this on the same day as he's going to go visit his sister?
This is the following day.
Following day.
Following
Yeah.
day. Okay. Okay. All right, go to where I know James lives.
Okay.
And I knock
James,
on
there's a
it.
knock on the door. a somewhat hesitant knock on the door, maybe.
It's very strong, but somehow strong and
Oh,
hesitant.
Okay.
Like trying to overcompensate the hesitancy with
right.
just
Who is it?
Your favorite annoyance is here to say hi. Doesn't know what. Oh God, it's Doc.
So I open the door, step away. You see me put my gun back on like my little dinette. Obviously I had it in my hand when I was answering the door.
Sorry, I didn't know it was that annoying.
Come in. I'm packing. So I'm sorry. So you see my suitcase. I'm on the couch. There's a boxed laundry. Obviously I had laundry done and I picked it up and I'm just transferring from the laundry box to my suitcase.
Need a hand?
No, are you hungry? I
It's
can make it. I
difficult
think
to
I got stuff to make a sandwich or something.
You think you have stuff to make a sandwich? Have you been eating, James? James, have you been eating?
Yeah. In fact, yeah. So
All right.
where are we going? Have we decided? I'm ready to go. I'll be ready by tonight.
Nowhere yet. Right. And is going to start helping you get the laundry into the suitcase. No, I'm still angry, but you don't need that right now, so I'm just trying to get myself in the right headspace to talk to you.
Doc, that's fine, but if you've come over here to get an apology from me, that's not going to happen.
No, I know that much.
Okay.
How long did you wait after I left the room?
I don't know how you're going to do it, but you need to let this go.
I know how I'm going to let it go. I'm going to talk to you about it.
I don't have much to talk about. What happened, happened. I did what I did, and it was the right thing to do. And I'm not going to justify it to you. I'm not going to apologize for
it. Guess that much. Well, if you don't have much to say, I sure have plenty, if you don't mind.
And I moved the suitcase away so you have a place to sit down. I'm going to pour myself a drink. Do you want one?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
And I'm at the phase of my disease now where I don't mix anything. I go straight bottle glass mouth. So I just, pull out some vodka, pour it into a glass that doesn't match any other glasses. None of my glasses match. And just kind of keep myself busy. So tidying up my kitchen that's doesn't need it, and just fiddling around, waiting for Doc to talk.
I'm afraid it's a bit selfish, but can I talk about that day from my perspective?
Of course.
I didn't tell anyone what happened when I went with Savitri into the library. It wasn't important. You saw what was on her wrist, yeah?
I think I did.
Yeah.
I doubt it. But
Well,
yeah,
you did.
I saw it.
Well, she wanted to give me that dashing little accessory.
I set my glass down and I walk over to you and I grab your wrist, and not in a nice way, and I pull your sleeve up. You didn't do something stupid, did you?
Besides walking into a library with someone who was probably going to kill me, I was never going to take it. I had no interest in it. I was scared, yeah. But not really for me. I knew that when I would say no, it wasn't going to be pretty for me. And I was scared that when y'all found out whatever happened to me after that, you I didn't think any of y'all would stop trying to get revenge for that. The only reason I ever considered saying yes was so I was the one making a mistake, not all of you.
You need to understand a few things, Doc. You're not responsible for me. You're not responsible for Alice or Sal. You also need to understand me well enough to know that nobody's going to get to you, Sal or Alice, without going through me.
I was scared, James.
I'm pretty fucking scared too, kid. But I'll be honest with you, I think we're it. It's random that the four of us are together. But I think we have proven to ourselves that whatever the hell this thing is, whatever the hell is going on in this world right now, we're it. We're the only ones that can do this. And we're going to do it.
Starts crying. And just sort
Doc,
of falls apart a little.
I'm going to grab you on your shoulders and force you to look at me. You got to keep your shit together, kid. We don't have time for this.
Trying.
I need you to try a little bit harder.
I'm not scared for me. I don't get why it doesn't affect me as much as it does all of you. For some reason, whatever I said made Savage think that I was in it enough to get that honor.
No, Doc. That's not what's happening. That could have been me. That could have been Alice. It could have been Sal. Any one of us could have been brought into that thing. She wasn't picking you because that there's something inside you that's calling this thing. That's not what happened. Okay? And you said no. So you got to let this go.
I can't. Not if it means that I'm not a good enough doctor.
Go home and just get out whatever this is, because whatever this is inside you, this doubt and this fear that you have, it can't get back on a plane with us. We can't take it to where we're going, and it can't be there when we do what we need to do. If you can't do it for yourself, then you goddamn well better do it for us. Do you understand?
No, James, I don't understand. I don't understand why I just can't figure this out and make sure that y'all are okay.
Go home, kid.
Not yet. Hate to be a nun to guess, but not yet.
I'll walk away. Still stay in the same room with you, but it's almost like you're not there. I'm just kind of operating around you.
Doc doesn't really know what to do at the moment.
Have you talked to Alice?
Yeah.
When are we meeting?
Tomorrow.
Okay. Where are we going to meet? What time?
Tell you that much. It'll tell you.
Yeah.
Okay. And I walk to the door and open it.
Walk to the door. Stupid. Just one last thing about that day. It was my birthday. I'm glad I got to be around friends. Despite the circumstances.
We got each other's back. And happy birthday.
Here's to 27. And I walk out.
Brian, I'm going to go to the window,
Mm-hmm.
kind of track Doc as long as I can, making sure that they're on their way. And then I've only got one more thing that I'll want to do tonight.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, is basically what other things do people want to do before we reconvene tomorrow. So, Craig, what does James got?
I am going to, after it gets dark, put on more casual clothes than I normally would going out.
Mm-hmm.
No tie, just a jacket. and some slacks. And I am going to walk well outside of my neighborhood. I'm going to find a dive. I'm going to go in there, sit at the bar, and maybe around drink 4 or 5. I'm going to kind of swing myself around on the bar stool, and I'm going to find the biggest son of a bitch in that bar. And I'm going to walk up to him, and I'm going to shove him.
Okay.
And I'm going to go, "You're the ugliest son of a bitch I've ever seen."
Okay. So I don't think we need to play this out mechanically. I think James gets what he wants, or what he was aiming for. Let's put it that way. Nothing's broken, but he does beat the crap out. You get some good licks in. I mean, you're not unaccomplished, so he's definitely going to feel it in the morning as well. But he's got the size, and frankly, he's got a couple friends here.
And that was part of my deduction, right? Is I wanted to find somebody who is bigger than me and who probably would get some help.
Yeah, he's from around here, and you're not.
Yeah.
So the bartender stops it before any really serious injuries happen. But you basically get, carried out and thrown onto the sidewalk. And need to, eventually find a taxi to get yourself dragged home.
Yep.
So, I mean, you take an amount of health damage that, will functionally be healed up, but you're going to look like shit tomorrow, which is not surprising.
Yep. Mission accomplished.
Do you feel better?
James thinks he does.
Okay. All right, cool. How about Sal? Anything else you want to do before the group reconvenes?
He'll go check in with Tony, make sure that Tony's got the letter to Bianca, and just tell him thanks for all the protection he's given her. That means a lot to him.
Yep, and I'm assuming you want that to continue. Since it sounds like it. Okay, yeah. He does say there was one point a week or two ago where they thought there might have been somebody else watching the place, but they've kept a good eye out since then and haven't seen any other sign of them. So they think it was a one-time thing, maybe just a coincidence that somebody was walking by. But other than that, it's been pretty quiet.
Have a description on this person?
Yeah, he's got one of the guys made kind of a sketch of him, and he, could be anybody. Doesn't look like anyone particular that you recognize, certainly.
Damn, Tony, this is the most detailed stick figure I've ever seen.
Yeah, they say he's going to go to art school someday.
Okay. Well, take care of yourself, cousin.
Yeah, you too, my friend. Alice, how about you?
Alice doesn't do anything special. I think she would have sent everybody a note, where to meet up, some restaurant, private room that she's arranged someplace.
Sure,
and
makes sense.
She may have sent, in the note to Sal, question mark, you want me to pick you up? Or shall I meet you there?
He'll meet you there.
Okay, makes sense.
So Alice is there first. She'll be there, waiting for the others.
All right. And Doc, anything for you?
A lot of wandering before he actually makes it home.
Okay.
Here's a lot of rough housing happening at a bar down the street that he's walking by. Just decides not to mess with it.
Yeah, no, you don't need to get involved in that nonsense.
Not my circus, not my monkeys, that type of deal.
Fair enough.
But the clowns.
He doesn't know that yet. He's gonna notice in the morning.
Yeah, almost certainly.
He maybe gets like an hour before sunrise when he finally stops just walking the streets and gets it up to his place.
Oh, okay.
It's not a
All
good
right.
night.
No. There's a lot of that going around, I'm afraid.
Mhm.
All right. So let's pick up tomorrow with the restaurant where Alice has a nice table in the back. Everybody can make your way there. We'll see how the conversation goes.
And I'll have a pretty good shiner, split lip, but dressed, shaven.
If James comes in first, I don't know.
Sure.
First. Alice has got, a nice spread out for lunch, and she looks up and sees the shiner and the split lip. And sighs and said, "Well, you didn't want to get laid?"
So James is taken a little back. I'm not going to answer. I'm just shaking my head at you. I'm not answering that.
Well, have some lunch, have some food. If it's whatever, if you needed to get your head knocked on straight.
Yep.
There are other ways, but sure. Try the deviled eggs. They shouldn't hurt too much.
Fair enough. All right. And then I imagine, let's say Sal arrives next.
Yep. He walks in and sits down.
Alice is going to immediately, set up a plate for him. It's like, you are going to like this.
Isn't that a question? Yeah. Any comments about James's appearance, or?
He'll give a once over to James and just kind of nod to him. He knows it. Yep.
Fair enough.
Ooh, deviled eggs.
And then Doc arrives, and we can.
May I make a slight amendment to what he was doing last night?
Yeah, sure.
He gets back about 3 hours
Okay.
before sunrise.
All right.
And he uses that time. He has an old recipe book. He makes something. He's not very confident in it, but as he walks in, you all can smell something that smells a bit like a pastry, you imagine. In his bag, he's not really telling you what it is yet. Just don't worry about it. He's not acknowledging the pastry smell coming from his bag yet.
Okay.
And you would think that having seen that he has not slept, you would notice, but he always has those same eye bags. So you kind of not sure. Yeah, he's there
Fair enough.
eventually. A bit
Yeah.
late, but he's there.
Yep. All right. So what's the plan, kids? So to summarize some of the information you have, because it's been, in real life terms, a while since we did this. At this point, you know that there is apparently still a mouth in Los Angeles. There is another cult center in Malta, which apparently has been producing tremendous amounts of this nectar stuff, like a lot more than any of the others for some reason. There were references to, well, I mean, you've found references to a lot of different other places that may be peripherally located, but those seem to be the main, kind of outstanding places that you know of. As far as the location of where this thing's mouth leads to, there have been a couple pieces of information there. There's obviously the list of places that Savitri was looking at where it might have been. There was a line in Mexico that said the maw of the mouth is within the devouring mountain. There's obviously a bunch of other references in the cult, but so it seems like there is definitively probably a place where this thing has something resembling a body, but you don't know where it is yet.
That's why I drew the mouth in the mountain. I thought that I just misunderstood the cenote. That's why I did that. Okay.
No, that was literally written in the sort of makeshift altar in Mexico.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. Doc takes out a map. Okay, it's a map of the world. Well, where are no places that we do need to address? Circles Los Angeles, circles Malta. Question we're asking ourselves next is, where are these all leading? It takes out the list. All right. And okay, so the problem with this list, as you can see, is that it has 12 distinct locations that we are not going to be able to hit in time. So I did a bit of thinking, tried to figure out how to whittle this list down a little, and I think I've got an idea. Okay, sorry. He's just about to go full lecture mode, and I'm not ready for that. I mentioned this to Alice on the way back. But the main thing that this Fisher in the Stars is looking for seems to be not just blood, but what it takes to get that blood. Violence, depravity, loss of morals. In humans, just about the only creatures that exist that are willing to sacrifice one another for anything less than pure survival. So what I'm thinking is that it's going to have to be someplace that's man-made. And so he starts crossing off the ones that are just natural, just phenomena like Tunguska, and I think probably the Great Sandy Desert.
Mm-hmm.
Not just natural ones, even if it's like a meteor crash, crosses
Right.
those out. All right. The next thing, what we understand from it, calling its one of its names being the Fisher in the Stars, this harbinger. If it was in some permanent place on this planet, on Earth, then it would have needed to be summoned back in Los Angeles all those years ago. It needs communication. It needs a link. It needs someone calling out to it. From there, he circles a few specific locations. He circles the Oracles of Sebek, the Black Stone, and I'll have to go back through and remember each one that he would have circled. And then, wasn't sure about this one, but I spent the time we were here doing a bit of research. He'll circle Mount Kailash. Oracles of Sebek. He'll just talk basically about the ancient Egyptian deity Sorbek, his role, her role, I actually believe. The Black Stone, we already know about that one, because we've been hearing a lot about it as one of the strange obelisks found in Hungary. And Mount Kailash. All right. The thing about Mount Kailash, I disregarded it at first, because obviously it's a mountain. This is a man-made mountain. And this is, at least that's what people are saying, because of the way that the rock structures are. It looks man-made. And the best that we can figure out, because great for us, it's not easy getting up that mountain. It's pretty guarded. Is that it was some type of spiritual location. Connection between the heavens and the earth. Now, I think best thing to do, solve these mouths. And I don't know exactly which one is meant to be yet. Which of these locations is the one, but I think we look for ones that are old. This thing has been here for a while. It's not just going to be some recent thing. So I wouldn't think Pompeii. Look for the old places, start hitting them. If we don't find it there, we have the rest of the list, but I think we prioritize these. On another note, this thing targets depravity. And on our way to Malta, well, from Malta to Hungary, rather, we might have to cross through some lands that, going through a bit of a rough patch at the moment. I was in university in Austria. A lot of my time in the last few years was spent getting people out of Germany. We might have to cross through there. I imagine there's a chance that could be a feeding ground. So, I say, either we start at Malta, start Los Angeles, deal with the mouths, and figure out which one leads us to the stomach.
We could be in LA tomorrow.
But LA knows us. They're on guard. Do we think we can get any further information from there?
The only thing we have to do in LA is get rid of that mouth.
I mean, didn't we? We blew up the house.
You burned down the house.
We burned down the house.
And from the news reports you saw later, it was not totaled. It had a lot of burn damage, but it has been or was being rebuilt.
I can imagine going to LA and finishing that, but we might be able to get some more information there that could help us in Malta. I don't know. LA or Malta? Wait.
The one thing I'm thinking is that if we want to go places that are quite old, we're going to want to start around the cradle of civilization, which is going to be India. So that means that getting to Malta and going to Hungary, that'll get us closer to there. So,
or Africa. Didn't the professor?
Yeah.
The professor he headed to Africa. He left just before.
That's right.
The obelisk of Axum may be a good place to go in Abyssinia.
Yeah.
Right, because Abyssinia is where that other expedition went.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps, I mean, I think, but again, Doc, you're the expert. You're the brains in this setup. I kind of smile and glance at James and Sal. I think the question is, do we go back and take care of LA, or do we head to Malta? And then from Malta, we see where we go.
Heading to Malta will put us on a path to hit all of the other locations that I'm thinking: Egypt, Hungary, Tibet, Abyssinia. That would kind of get us spiraling down a path that we can't just sort of cross back the ocean from. I think it may be good to go back to LA.
Take out. Don't leave it in our back. Take out whatever was threatening Helen, and glance towards Sal. Bianca. Yeah. Let's finish what we started in LA.
I'll see you at the airport. I stand up and leave.
Okay.
Look at us. Our conversation didn't go well.
I think he's probably had enough time talking. He can cool down on the flight. Perhaps get him a comic book or something.
I've gotten him so many of those. I feel like it's going to be redundant at this point, but I'm sure I can find a good one.
Look towards Sal and say, "You all right, Sal? How's Bianca?"
She does well. Thanks for asking.
Anything I can do? We can do. So, I'll give Janet a call, see if she can Well, no, let's just we'll take regular air tickets. We don't need to get
Okay.
Frank involved.
As you wish. Frank, she would probably have mentioned when you were talking the other day that Frank is back in New York and available if you need him. But if you want to do it regular ways, we can do that too.
Perhaps let's not fly into Los Angeles, but San Francisco, someplace nearby. Rent a car. Sal, you got any contacts around there? You think we can? No. Okay. Then,
Nothing that I can depend on.
I'd say try the trifle. Let's meet at the airport tomorrow.
All right.
Enough.
And then, unless anybody has something else, I think the last thing we had to do was somebody wanted to do a little bit of a flashback sequence.
That's Alice. I imagine that you see the group, disperse. Alice, everybody going back to their homes, finishing packing, getting ready, and then we see Alice in London, because when on the way back, there was the stop in London before they boarded the ocean liner. And on the way there, she went to visit James' tombstone in the family grave. And while the others were at the hotel, because there was a day layover, she went to his tomb again. It's in the family crypt. She has access, even though the in-laws, well, they've given her that, and she spends an hour just sitting next to the stone plaque with his name on it. And first she's just sitting there, and then she just starts to cry. And at one point she's just sobbing and puts her head against his neck. It's just like, James, I thought I'd moved on. I miss you so. And then at some point, she's cried out, and she wipes her face. And she takes a deep breath, and she kisses the stone with his name, and she whispers, "But don't worry, whatever it takes, I'll get you back. I'll make sure, whatever it takes, whatever it costs, you'll be back again." And she whispers, "Golgoroth."
Oh my God.
Let's roll them credits.
Oh my God.
Where secrets lie, Walter Winston lived, but he had to die. His daughter Janet, fierce and bold, hired a team to find the stories untold. Oh, Walter Winston, Mr. Mystery Man, caught in a web of a sinister plan, with cults and crimes and shadows so dark. His story ignites like a match to a spark. Ex-cop, doc, gangster, nurse in the mix, unraveling truths in a dance of tricks. Swinging through secrets, meet the moon's gleam. They chase the spurs of a deadly dream.
So I know I didn't know anything about that flashback. Did you know that was going to happen, Brian?
I knew that she wanted to stop by James's tomb in London, and that's the extent of it. So, I mean, now, to be fair, Alice has hinted at that sort of thing before, but I think this is as explicit as it has become, and I am so fucking excited to see where it goes.
So good. So
Yeah.
good.
You guys all make me so very happy. I love having a game, and I said this last time, a whole session where there's no fights, well, except the self-inflicted one, but it's just, I like that we can have just conversations and interactions, and that you guys are all comfortable with letting those long silences go between characters. I just, that's so good to me. Naomi, give you some thoughts, stars, and wishes. It's going to be a little bit of time before we get to our next session, but
yeah, and just so everybody knows, I'm anticipating we'll probably be back in the fall. So we're going to take the summer off. We'll be back in the fall.
Oh, that's good. Well, thoughts. Looking forward to that. Stars. Well, I mean, my heart breaks for Sal and Bianca. So that's just love that. I think I loved all the downtime everybody had, and that we got to get this opportunity. And as I said, James heading into a bar, and I was thinking, well, what's he going to do? And of course, there had been other options, and that's what Alice was hinting at. So, but I think, really, and Doc just trying to the awkward friction a bit between Doc and James. I think that's worked just so perfect. And I think wishes, well, fall, I'll make it to there. So that's and I think no, absolute star is Doc and Mac with this entire figuring everything out and all the options. Well, it's got to be man-made. It's this. I love it. Love it. And this is just why Alice is she wanted to she needs Doc on board to point her in the right direction. So that it was all on wait a minute, we need to keep Adrian on board, keep Adrian concentrated, moving us in the right direction, and did that perfectly. So,
nice.
It's super cool to me how I feel like each one of us are finding each other a leader in different ways, right? Like I think we are leaderless, the four of us, but it's very clear how easily our characters will defer to each other for different types of things. That dynamic is super interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting that it's like everybody has the phases that they lead in.
Mm-hmm.
And I do enjoy seeing that. Mac, how about you?
Naomi, how could you do this? You said you were okay. I knew I should have asked about that on the ship.
See, I didn't have to have a cliffhanger for this episode because Naomi took care of it for me.
You built up the suspicion so well. I just had to think of like, oh, this is a really cool plot point, and I wanted to bring it up at some point to talk about like how Alice is feeling with the whole like James situation, because it's been a few months since we last talked about it. But then you just did things like Alice is doing so well. She's doing like so good talking to people. She's like, don't worry about me. I'm fine. And it was a bit concerning. Doc was like, she's a little too fine, but maybe it's just a coping mechanism. And then just like, go girl. Oh. Okay. That was why. You did very good at building up the suspense just by being a slightest bit disconcerting here and there, by being okay. It's not okay to be okay. How could you do? I also do like that it was Alice that talked to Janet, because it couldn't have been Doc if Janet was going to learn anything.
In your current state, yeah.
Never. Doc was never going to let his friend get hurt in a way like that. Mm-hmm. Doc was never going to tell anyone about this that didn't need to know about it. It had to be someone who's willing to actually say what needs to be said. That's Doc's like one of his only childhood friends that he kept. He's not risking that. Sorry I'm talking so much, by the way.
That's fine. Yeah. We're here to talk.
Doc is not Doc was never meant to be a therapist. Doc's not good at it by nature. He's an instigator. He's incendiary. He likes to be a troublemaker. He likes making problems. It was not the path he first thought of to be the one that has to talk and sit down and solve things in a civil manner. And that's really showing in that he doesn't know how to handle these types of situations. He doesn't know how to handle talking to Sal, doesn't know how to handle talking to James. And doesn't, the only time that when he kind of like loses that confidence was like probably the one time he should have talked to somebody, which was with Alice, when he should have asked, hey, you seem to be doing a bit okayer than you should. He's not meant to be a therapist, but he's trying his hardest to do that for these people. He at some point just decided that he needs to get better at this. So he decided to become a psychoanalyst. And in the 1930s, psychoanalysts would have meant things like going to prisons and talking to like serial killers to understand what their mindsets. It meant
why you do this.
Yeah. He just like taking patients was relatively new, but he wanted to push himself to be better at helping people. And it's not what he was made for. It's really showing in how he just kind of really fumbled real hard for this whole session. I think my star was definitely just seeing Sal collapse immediately into Bianca. Just, and you two played it so well. It felt so natural just watching you two just being like, not really saying much to each other just because both characters knew, oh god, this is not good. Yeah, it's I think I quite enjoyed that very little got truly resolved here, and that's just gonna keep getting worse until, yeah, this wasn't exactly a breather. This was more just
It's
Yeah.
a different kind of stress.
yeah.
Any wishes going forward?
I'll figure out who Mr. Nondescript was.
Okay.
I was waiting for a nice conversation, but he never showed up. That's so rude.
Yeah, very disappointing.
You hate it.
Yep. All right, Chris, how about you?
For my stars, I mean, the sheer talent of role playing at this table just astounds me. It's like I was mentioning during the break. When you get into home games and things like that around friends, it very rarely goes to the kind of the heaviness of this particular role play. I mean, I felt very emotionally heavy during this session, and that's all just because of the ability of everybody to role play and just go that direction. So for me, the stars are everybody. The role play is just fantastic. I have to admit that I did not see Naomi and the James tomb scene. I didn't see that coming.
Who could have seen that coming?
Golgoroth.
Yes.
Golgoroth knows all. Yes.
And hopefully Sal didn't find out about it because he would be freaking the fuck out. Pardon my French, but he sees Alice as one of our rocks, and for her to be thrown into such a fervent belief, that's scary to Sal. That's a slippery slope.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. And the role play between Mac and Craig as their characters, oh man, that was fantastic. You could feel the tension; it was so palpable. Yeah. And kudos to you guys.
Yeah, and I have to say, Chris, the initial conversation on the ship between Mac and Sal, I love that because it really set the tone so well. Yeah. When Doc is just like, well, why don't you go home and spend some time with Bianca, and you're just like, I'm gonna do what I want to with my time, and if you don't like it, you can go to hell. That was just like bang. All right, that's where we are right now. I loved that.
Yep.
Yeah. Wishes? Is it fall yet? I mean,
amen, brother.
So I'm looking forward to where this goes. As a player, certainly. As a character, it's going to be a wild ride.
Absolutely, that's the plan.
And as Alice said, there'll be victims, there will be casualties, and it just how's this going to shake out?
I love it. All right, Craig, bring us home.
Like great ending. The obvious one, obviously, is Alice. Much like Chris, I didn't see it coming, but I believed it, which is not an easy line to toe. So that was awesome. I think one of my favorite things in this game right now for me is discovering James and Adrian. I love how we are figuring out how our people with each other. And I love I'm picking up just a really deep, like, confusing connection between our two characters, and I'm really enjoying playing with you, Mac, and finding that out. I loved our scene together, and I loved that I didn't know what James was going to do. I didn't know what Adrian was going to do, and that's great. Let's go. And echoing what Chris said, it just that's my star, is having a table, which we get a lot on this channel, which is amazing. Just a table that says we're going to play our characters. We are going to do this. And I think it's really, really interesting. I think it's something that makes this run very unique, but I think it's we see a lot of it on my channel, and I'm so lucky because of it. But like, we are streaming, we have an audience, but we're it's just the five of us playing, and we're playing honestly. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. I think what we're doing, and hopefully people watching are feeling this, is I think we are demonstrating one way to do this hobby.
Yeah. And
I think we are showing the game and showing the hobby really, really well. And that's something that's super cool. It's something that's just cool. Really cool. I wish it was the fall too. I'm looking forward to revisiting this and coming back to it. But we'll have it up on the schedule here pretty soon, so you guys will know that date.
And the good news is you guys will not be bored in the interim. There is so much good stuff happening on this channel.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate that. Like, in just a couple hours, we're going to be back with Mothership, episode 4 of VR Dead. Oh boy. The big question is will they live long enough to die to the gas giant? We'll have to see.
Yeah. Mac, what
do not miss Wednesday. Wednesday's pretty special. We're doing the Crawling Chaos. It's a Lovecraftian RPG, no prep, one narrator, one player, which will be me, and we have 4 GMs who are literally the architects of my demise. It's mechanically very, very interesting. I think it's going to end up being really enjoyable. We've got Sentinels still running, so make sure that you are watching that. Also, things that are still live on Tuesday, we have Trophy Dark. We're going to be doing 2 weeks in a row of Trophy Dark. It'll be a total of 2 episodes, and Jason Cordova, the publisher of Trophy Dark, is running it, which I'm very excited about that. In July, I'm going to be doing Cthulhu Dark with a one-on-one play with me and another Craig, and doing a thing that's going to be it's a very Lovecraftian summer that's coming together here on the channel. So.
And that's without this even.
I know. But yeah, a lot to look forward to. Brian, you're one of the architects on Wednesday.
I am prepared to see about your creative demise. It'll be great.
It's gonna be fun. Fun.
Mac, I think you had something.
Did you have any thoughts, stars, and wishes, Brian?
Oh, that's so kind of you. I mean, you guys have pretty much already said everything. The only thing that really panicked me during the session was when Doc started going through the list of places, and it's like, well, I've crossed all of these out. And I'm like, I hope they haven't crossed out the one that's actually it, but I think we'll be okay. I think we can put enough clues in the place that we'll get where you need to be.
Crossing out doesn't mean that he's neglecting them. Those just are the top priority.
Not priorities. Yeah. No, I get it. It's going to be fun. It's like, but yeah. And I mean, stars wise, like I said, everybody knocked it out of the park in terms of role playing these characters on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Yeah,
On the verge.
All right, some of them have gone over the verge.
Gosh, verge is far beyond us.
That was last session.
Yeah, exactly. Now we get the aftermath. But yeah, and then wishes wise, like I said, I'm anxious to get back to it, but this will give me a chance to build some clever things in the interim, and I'm super looking forward to it. You guys, you're awesome.
Awesome. See everybody soon.
Take care, all.
Bye.
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.